All right. This morning, I woke up to a video of Jesus and Bukayo Saka having got some knocks as Arsenal beat Bournemouth by 4-0. And I told you that we are obviously going to come back here and really let you know whether they're going to head to train with the team that's going to travel to France to play Rennes tomorrow. And I base this on the fact that every time you're going to play Champions League game, the rules tell you every player that is going to be included into that squad is obviously supposed to take part into that 15-minute training that is covered by the media, and then the rest is left for the team. So today, good news has gone ahead to befell Arsenal fans all over the world. Saka, Jesus took part in training of Arsenal, and that's not only the band of happiness that these two are really having, but there is another band of happiness of Thomas Partey, meaning that Arsenal might be really having only two players left injured. That means Julian Timber and Gabriel Martinelli. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. How are you guys, and where you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokan David. Smash the like button, comment and share if you're only watching us for the very first time. Endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And it has been Simon Collins, you know him very well, correspondent of Arsenal for the Evening Standard, came out and told us that Thomas Partey and Bukayo Saka are both in Arsenal training day. However, Gabriel Martinelli is not involved. That is it. Now, the hugest doubts were Thomas Partey, Jesus, and Bukayo Saka because of how they are really stamped on their studs on Saturday. But big news comes in through to obviously confirm that these two are obviously fit, and they're waiting to see whether they're in the traveling squad of Arsenal that is obviously going to take part into the game of Rennes. But to me, the biggest returnee of Arsenal is Thomas Partey. That is it. It's Thomas Partey, and we want to see how Mikel Arteta is obviously going to tussle it out with this team of Arsenal. Why? Very many Arsenal fans are calling in for a midfield that has Declan Rice, Thomas Partey, and Martin Odegaard. That is it. And Arteta is defiant to all what the fans of Arsenal are really calling in for, and is sticking for Kai Havertz into that midfield of Arsenal. And we are all waiting to see the day that midfield three is obviously going to be played. And Arsenal fans have to be excited, not for this game of our series, because it might be just a warm-up for the game they're going to play against Man City on Sunday. The biggest game that Arsenal really eyeing at is the game where they're going to face Man City on Saturday. If Thomas Partey is back, how is Arteta gonna do this? Because Declan Rice is there, Thomas Partey is available. Do you play both of them in the midfield as you take on City, or you don't? That is the hugest question that Arteta has to answer, and it's a very huge boost that he has a chance to obviously try it out, this double pivot, as they take on the side of Man City. And it's good news for Arsenal fans. Thomas Partey is back. That is the best news that will ever get as an Arsenal fan, and he has been part of the training session. I'm obviously going to take you some footage in the near future to come before I end this video, as I show you how Thomas Partey really trained with the Arsenal side. And by the way, rumor had it that his return was expected before the international break, and it was anticipated that he would be available for the game of City. And we are told that it's not going to be only him, but Martinelli will also be available, and Declan Rice. For Declan Rice, Saliba, they are back, but one player, Martinelli, expected, I think, towards the end of this week. And maybe Mikel Arteta is finding it hard to obviously rush him back, because he believes for full healing, he needs to get what we call enough rest, and he wants to unleash him when he's really feeling fit, and he's so much afraid of the international break. By the way, that is one of the things that Arsenal fans should really look at. You've already looked at this, but to me, I think it's not good for Thomas Partey to return before the international break. Why? Ghana will any day call for Thomas Partey to play, but you obviously know that Arsenal wouldn't really like to see this happen, because sometimes when he goes there, he comes back an injured player, and he would love to be having Thomas Partey into this position where Arsenal is really playing this week, because they need that game of Man City. after Man City, they're having a very good spell of games that obviously going to help them really qualify for the Champions League. And after qualifying for the Champions League, they'll need to obviously do the needful and obviously endorse their foot onto the Premier League title, and they need it badly, and they're really searching for it badly, and they need everything to happen in a nick of time to obviously take on and be to the next level. So when you look at the run of games that Arsenal are really going to have after the international break, because we all know what Arsenal is playing this week before they go to the international break. They're playing Rennes tomorrow and they're hosting Man City on Sunday. Now, when they return from the international break, they're playing Chelsea away at Stamford Bridge. Then they play Sevilla away in Spain. They play away at Sheffield. They play West Ham away, right? And they play Newcastle away. Plus Sevilla at home, plus Burnley away from home. Then they go to another international break. So when you look at the run of games they're going to have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you really need Thomas Partey here. And that's good news that he's here. But the big story or the big question remains, how is Arsenal going to handle this situation of this guy? Because Ghana is going to obviously call him for the international break. I know they have some games to play, and he's going to be invited. But for the good of the game and for the good of Arsenal, for the good of the player, if I'm Thomas Partey, I tell the coach of the national team that please, I'm not yet really ready to come in through and really play the beautiful game of football. So that is Thomas Partey for you, and I'm obviously going to bring you the photos as far as everything is really standing when they went ahead to train down at the London Conley. So let me flash them on the screen a little bit. So let's go a little bit into the photos of how these Arsenal players really trained at the London Colony today as they prepare to fly to the side of France to play Rennes. Now, that is Saka and Edin Ketia. Then that is William Saliba training. Jorginho and Saliba obviously training together. Then Gabriel Magalhaes there. This is El Nini also returning from injury too. Then this is Bukayo Saka, and I've forgotten the name of the guy, but he really plays very well for the side of the Arsenal and the team. He's one of the most high, I think it's Walters, right? Walters is his other name, and is really a very good player that obviously does the needful for the club of Arsenal. Then Mikel Arteta obviously issuing instructions at the training ground of Arsenal. Then Declan Rice and David Raya doing the needful in there for you. Aaron Ramsdale embracing Reece Nelson in his chest. And we're having Emile Smith-Rowe taking part in the training of Arsenal and obviously trying to fight for position to play. Then Thomas Partey, most huge story coming in from Arsenal that we'll ever hear for a player coming in from injury that Arsenal fans are really excited about. Thomas Partey is really back and everything is going in through in a very particular way altogether. Then Leandro Trossard being one of those players that returned from injury via the weekend. He never played any minute as Arsenal beat Bournemouth by 4-0, but he gets back into full speed. Thomas Partey obviously taking on Reece Nelson in training today, and it's really huge display from him. Bukayo Saka, a man who limped off the field of play over the weekend. He comes in through to obviously give this team the needed squad depth. Mikel Arteta all smiles in the training session of Arsenal. Then Saka obviously holding the ball in there for you, and William Saliba obviously too there. Zinchenko obviously shrugging and asking, what's up guys, I'm already ready for the trip to France. Then David Raya, he's another one doing the needful for the side of Arsenal, and I think he's also going to start in between the stitches, as we now know that he's the first choice goalkeeper of Arsenal and no one really doubts that. Then we are having We are having Declan Rice, obviously doing the needful to train with Arsenal. This is Zinchenko doing his flicks as usual. Zinchenko there from you, Declan Rice in disbelief as he held the back of his head with his both hands. Magalhaes and Mikel Arteta trying to have a chat and a word. Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus is one of those players of Arsenal that never really showed up and that never really trained over the weekend with Arsenal, but came in through, and he was one of those players that left the pitch limping, and he played until the end of the game because he was really injured. But nevertheless, he's one of those players that obviously got to where he deserves to be, and he's back in training. I discussed everything concerning his availability in the first video that really put out that confirmed that he really had a knock when Arsenal was playing Bournemouth. But he's also back into the first training session of Arsenal, and they're obviously trying to gear themselves up for the Champions League. Then Kai Havertz and Emile Smith-Rowe doing the needful, and that is Emile Smith-Rowe and Edin Nketiah training with Arsenal. And lastly, Bukayo Saka and Edin Nketiah trying to laugh and do all the necessary work for the club of Arsenal. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. That's what I had for you, and I hope you guys have gone ahead to enjoy it. I never had to go deep into Bukayo Saka because I talked about, all discussed fully about Bukayo Saka in the morning, and Jesus. The only person I've gone ahead to talk about a lot has been Thomas Partey, because I knew what exactly Thomas Partey means to the side of Arsenal. So thank you very much for watching through. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're only watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Now, I'm calling upon your reactions in the comment section below about the triple return of Arsenal players. That is the triple injury boost. You can as well call it up as Thomas Partey, Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Jesus take part in the last Arsenal training session as they take on the side of Rennes. And remember, the traveling squad is obviously going to be announced very soon by Mikel Arteta, and the presser is coming in like 1.5 hours from now. I'm going to be bringing you everything happening down in France here on this channel. We are going to live stream as we break down what Arteta had to say about the game they're going to play against RC Rennes. And Arsenal is into full gear. Their first game in the Champions League, they beat PSV by 4-0, and here they come again to do the needful by obviously taking on the team known as Rennes, and they need to obviously beat the team Rennes with some goals to stay on top of the group. After they top that group, they come and see whether they can get their first win against Man City over the weekend in the era of Mikel Arteta, especially in the Premier League. The last 10 games they're going to have to play together. Looks like Pep Guardiola's going to have to age. Mikel Arteta, and Arteta this time round has a chance because lots of players of Man City are really out with injury, and Rodri, the man who obviously commands the engine room, is obviously injured. So thank you very much for watching through. Rokani David remains my name. The Christians, may the living to God bless you abundantly. The Muslims, Barakallahu Fikum. And I'm going to return when Arteta's presser is done down in France. Ciao, ciao.